I saw this coming from a mile away. This was something that was too good to be true. Henry Cavill is a real Warhammer fan, and as such, any sort of development where he was going to be trying to be true to the lore was going to go by the wayside. Now, let's cover the history of Warhammer's descent into wokeness over the last couple of months. Of course, they posted about female Adeptus Custodes, who never existed before. It was always a men-only faction. And on top of that, it was rumored that like this change was because Amazon was developing this TV show and wanted more strong female leads. What else is new, right? And so they couldn't just go with the Sisters of Silence. They had to have more because it has to be a majority of strong female leads. So we're in the era of Star Wars: The Acolyte, after all. It's 2024. One strong female lead's not enough. We need at least 80% strong female leads, and then you can have like a kind of cucky Asian guy like following them around while they destroy the white villains. There's my pitch to Amazon. I bet they'll take it. And so Henry Cavill was rumored to really actually hate that about this, and was rumored to be fighting with Amazon on behalf of the lore, on behalf of Warhammer over this. And now it looks like Amazon's going to be cutting this show entirely. So Games Workshop is really in trouble because I think they were really counting on media licensing becoming their new model. I think that's why BlackRock's invested in them. If you look at Marvel and DC and how they're owned by Disney and Warner Brothers, they don't care about comics. The reason the comics can go all DEI and the reason they can be all strong female leady and gay leady and black leady and they don't actually have to publish books that people want anymore is because they hold the licenses for the movies, and then the movies make so much money. The comics are just like a sunk loss and expense to keep the trademarks. So I think Games Workshop was intending on doing that because they see the writing on the wall with 3D printing. They see the writing on the wall with their bad rules changes, like this new edition's garbage. And so they were trying to go forward with this, while, of course, the next step is Space Marine, which is the video games and movies. It's where the money's at. And I've got information on both of those today, which is, of course, going to be disappointing, but it's also expected. So you got to tune out of these properties. My name's John Delarose. I'm a #1 best-selling author and award-winning comic creator. I've been in gaming for a long, long time. I started with the Doomtown card game, which is based on the Deadlands RPG, and I used to write the lore for that. And I also have my own lore. I've got my own series called Justified Saga of the Nano Templar, which I made a #1 best-selling science fiction series. People are loving it. It's a trilogy, and of course, if you like Warhammer, you're absolutely going to love this universe. It's crusading in space, everything you always wanted. It's unabashed, action-packed, good stuff. Check it out. I'll put that link in the description below for you to make it easy. And make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Join us and join our community because we're making changes in culture, and it's really, really awesome. I appreciate you guys being here. So, yeah, the rumor is that, again, that Amazon MGM Studios and Games Workshop's Warhammer 40K live action is going to be shelved. And, of course, this comes from Arch of Archcast. He says, right now the agreement in principle between Games Workshop and Amazon appears to be in effect. This means that the team at Amazon, a team of writers, is right now trying to write out a story that's going to be turned into the Warhammer 40K television show. They have, I believe, a few more months for the deadline for this project, and they have to hand it in. And then it has to be greenlit, or they have to have their writing date for further postponed in the hopes that they can produce something further down the line, or the entire project will be shelved. He adds these are 3 opportunities. They'll have a project and go ahead with, they'll shelve the whole thing, or they will extend the deadline to try to get a decent product going. And nothing is finalized as of yet. There's no deal. Absolutely nothing. There isn't even money for the project allocated, as far as his insider can tell on Amazon's behalf. So they've not committed to doing this show. As much as everybody's been hyping it up in our community, Amazon never really looked at it. And this happens quite a bit. I'm a big fan of Dragon Raiders of Pern a while back, and I'm good friends with the McCaffrey family, who Anne McCaffrey was the writer of that. They've been in and out of contract for that like a dozen times, and they've written scripts, they've gotten scripts produced, they even had like people attached to it, like the guy who Ronald D. Moore, who ran Battlestar Galactica, was attached to a Dragon Raiders of Pern project for a while. But even at the script stage, like where they're writing scripts and all that, these companies don't have any skin in the game whatsoever, and so they can just shelve it and just move along at any time they want. And that happened. I mean, that's never been made a TV series, and these days I'm glad it's not, because they'd absolutely ruin that property like they've ruined so much else. And so this is likely what's happening with Warhammer, and I very much can see Amazon backing out of this, especially given how Henry Cavill is advocating for the lore. They want to make their own changes, because what happens is these execs, these writers, always want to subvert expectations and put their own spin on things, which we know it always leads to destruction of all these properties. Look at the Wheel of Time at Amazon, for example, or rather don't. I mean, that show's so bad. Look at Rings of Power, which is like not even real Lord of the Rings. This is what they want to produce. And of course, if the people on the other side are not on board with that, like Henry Cavill wouldn't be, it's not going to likely to come to terms. And that's what I expect is going to happen here. Now, on the Space Marine front, the video game, of course, we learned that this is going to be, that there was this like transgender activist writing Space Marine 2 for the video game, and was the lead writer on this. And it's about to drop here. And all the discussion seems to point to this being something very, very bad, and is giving us red flags just based on what the community is saying. So here's what Combat Wombat says on Twitter, and Chainsword agrees. Combat Wombat says, Space Marine 2 isn't even out yet. This is what the Steam discussions look like. What a effing shit show. Chainsword says, yeah, not looking great. Developers already lied that there will be no microtransactions when they introduce cosmetics and a season pass. And so I don't believe them when they say there is no woke in this game. And so here it is. Look at the community going crazy. Good riddance, chuds. Removed from my wish list. Source says the main writer, and this is talking about this. Thoughts on DEI being added. Space Marine 2. When it rains, it pours. Not going to be worth buying until it. Prepare yourself, brothers. I refuse to buy a game written by one of these people. Will I be able to play as an actual Space Marine, or is it going to be a strong female lead? We don't know. And so looking really bad for the video game right before it's going to be coming out as well, which is what we expect. Honestly, Space Marine 1 was a lightning in a bottle kind of thing. It was before all this DEI took place. It's before all these people got hired for this kind of stuff. And you have to assume that there's going to be a baseline level of wokeness in anything that gets developed by one of these major studios at this point. It's just how it is. And so Warhammer has gone this direction. It looks like everything's going to be failing on the video game front and on the Amazon front. And this is going to be a major L for Games Workshop. We'll see what happens going forward, because they have a lot riding on this, and their profits from gaming and models are not going to be their business model for the future, so they are reliant on this. We'll see how it goes, and we'll be reporting on it here. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out Justified, Saga of the Nano Templar. Really appreciate you being there, and we'll be back soon.